was very proud to be renowned as having so much guts and courage, and really that may have been my downfall, because that's all I wanted to do was fight rather than box. It meant a lot, to be Southern Area champion of London, that was a big thing. I boxed, away from home all the way through my career. I only actually boxed in Bristol twice, so I was on the road, and it was very tough. I boxed in France, Italy, Zimbabwe, Zambia twice, and Australia. So I had a great time. I was a big party goer and drinker, and praise God that I've gone 23 years dry. So but it's made the difference to my life. No alcohol, and I'm sure if I was not drinking in those days when I was boxing, I would have got a lot further. Even whilst I was boxing, I always knew I'd be a manager and trainer. I went to, whilst I was in London, I went to every fight, and likewise, once I retired, I still continued. I would spend, day after day in the gyms watching the great trainers and managers, their little sayings and the way they spoke and the way they acted, and I've had, I've been very, very fortunate, that Mickey Duff, Mike Barrett, Terry Lawless, George Francis, they all took me into their confidence, and I was allowed to be around them.
Referee looks on very closely, buyers all over the place, and the referee has stopped the fight, and Glenn Catley is the new WBC super middleweight champion of the world in incredible fashion, and he is Bristol's first proper world champion in history.
I'd had Glenn from 14 years of age. We had him all the way through. That naturally was the apex of my career as a manager. Then Ross Howe, when he boxed Andy Holligan back here in Bristol in '94, I believe on that night Ross Howe could have beaten anyone on that night. Then we had Dean Francis. He then won the British and European titles. Then Scott Dann was the first man to win the British title from Plymouth. Then we brought Lee Haskins through, again the same, had him here since he was 14 years of age, brought him through the amateurs, and now he's won the British title, Commonwealth title, and now the European. We've had 6 champions. It's been a roller coaster ride, and it's good. I had not had a day off through illness for maybe 20 years. It was a big shock. I didn't know people survived from cancer. All the people that I'd ever known who had cancer died, and and that's what I sort of had in my mind. The pain and that I suppose you can tackle. It's just like a fight, and and actually I believed in God, and all the way through I believed that I'd get through. Lee Haskins was a big help. He had that big fight with Broadhurst during the time that I was having chemo, and I'll always owe that to him. Winning that fight, against the odds, and that helped me pull me through, against the odds, and I'm actually very excitable. I've put my heart and soul in getting the boys to where they are, and likewise I expect that from them.
He is still yelling at Mark Green. That's the manager, the old pro himself. Jamie Arthur might not be complaining, but Chris Sanigar is really letting off some steam.
I've been very fortunate that I've had, fighters very, very courageous, and I'm hoping that my character is sort of rubbed off on them when the going gets tough. But I still get great satisfaction from taking you know, one of our less known boxers, you know, up to Birmingham or up to Manchester, and if they can nick a win on somebody else's show, I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but you know, it's a great feeling, you know, driving home down that motorway when your boys won, when you know, he's not expected to, you know, and that is a wonderful, wonderful feeling.